I'm going to trust that we look dope, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ill Communication. We're here after Burning Man, hence the lack of sound system. It's being cleaned. But today I am joined by Mr. Savona.
Yo.
Globe-trotting dance hall enthusiast, bass music producer, and to his friends, Jake.
Yes,
Jake,
thank you so much.
Thanks so much for being here, man. It's great to have you on the show.
Awesome to be here.
So you've been all over the world recently. Can you tell us a little bit about your travels?
Yeah, man. I left Australia in May on a tour/recording enterprise, I guess you could call it. I did shows in India and then came up through LA, did some mixing work, and then to the Caribbean. So I flew into Jamaica. It's actually my 5th time in Jamaica. I work a lot with artists there, and picked up a killer band, including Sly and Robbie, the epic drum and bass duo production team, as well as just great guys. And we flew into Cuba and did a week of recording at Egram Studios, which is where the famous Buena Vista Social Club album was recorded. And yeah, 7 days with some of the best musicians in Cuba. We had about 20 musicians over the week. Recorded 25 instrumentals, and this is all for a project I'm working on called Havana Meets Kingston, which is actually the first time in history, crazily enough, that Jamaican and Cuban musicians have gathered together in the same place to work together on a record, even though these islands are like only 90 miles apart, and probably the 2 most influential musical islands in the world. Like if you look how Cuba has influenced all of Europe and South America, and then of course Jamaica with its drum and bass foundation. They invented the remix, they invented the drum and bass, they invented the dub, they invented everything pretty much that we love.
That's wild.
In bass music. So yeah, wild. The album sounds crazy. It's really obviously it's a big live band recording project, but we'll be definitely running it through all kinds of interesting fusions of styles, I'm from a background where I love all styles of music. So although I record a lot with big bands, a lot of it will come out sounding quite heavy and electronic as well. So that's
sweet.
Yeah, an exciting mix.
Super sweet.
Yeah, man.
Cool. So is that going to be on Muti or?
It's going to be at the moment. I hope so. Actually, at the moment, because it's this massive project and we're still in the middle of recording it all. So what labels exactly will release it? But definitely Muti artists will be involved in the remix side of the project, and such a legendary, awesome label. So we'll see. Every project I do is sort of a bit different. So this one, it has a very different market appeal, perhaps. So we'll see. Yeah. I
was a big fan of the Sizzla release that you did on Muti Music. Yep. Yeah. Jake produced the Sizzla album.
It's called Born a King. It came out May last year. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool, and it was really awesome to see a lot of the kind of West Coast glitchy bass dub step kind of glitch hop artists get into some Jamaican sounds.
Yeah, man.
So what's the reception been like in Jamaica for the whole crossover thing?
Well, it's interesting, man. I was in Jamaica basically promoting the album last April and did some videos with Sizzla and straight after I left the island, the album had its official release, and I actually got a message from a friend that was staying in Jamaica in the Grill, which is on the west coast, like a cool little beach town. He goes, "Dude, I'm in my hotel and I just heard this cargo pass and the system in the car is so fucking loud." Sorry, I shouldn't swear.
No, you can swear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, fucking loud. And
cunt. You can even say cunt if you like.
And they were playing tunes from they basically had the Sizzla album playing in the car. So it's wicked to know that the album has had a good reception there. And crazy enough, Sizzla, when I dropped the box of CDs, because they just come into Jamaica with the whole this story, I had to get them through customs, because in Jamaica, Sizzla's a superstar. So they saw this massive box of CDs. They actually didn't want to give it to us. But anyway, I dropped it to his house. He was on his way to a tour in Ghana. So he took the whole box to Ghana, and now the record's a massive hit there. So
sick.
So it's good. It's had really good reception. But I think what this makes this album special, and we're talking about Muti Music, and credit to them, because this is the first time an album you could call a reggae album. It's the first time a reggae album was released as an album, but with 5 EPs accompanying the album, each with a single and multiple remixes. So you got trap, dubstep, drum and bass, jungle, all these styles. You don't normally see reggae albums released. By that, it's a bit of a first. And the reason me and Dove sort of came up with that is because so much trap, so much dubstep samples sort of illegally Jamaican vocals or acapellas or whatever. But we wanted to say, hang on, I'm going to Jamaica all the time. I'm recording with these artists. Let's do it legitimate, Let's actually go, we have the masters. What do you guys want to do with this music? So it's been an exciting way to release the music,
Sick. Sick.
Yeah.
So when you're in Jamaica, do you go to the bashment party?
I like an occasional bashment, clapment as well. Yeah, for sure, man. Like, okay, so, I mean, there's two sides to Jamaican music, and I guess for Jamaicans, it's not really a separate thing, but for instance, on Sundays, I go up to Gabri's, which is this beautiful roots reggae party up in the hills above Kingston, and that's pure kind of foundation Jamaican music and modern roots, and very sort of conscious. And then for instance, on a Wednesday, you've got Weddy Weddies, which is the Stone Love Party, which is full, as you say, bashment, dancehall, and get to see the crazy outfits and costumes. Like, I'm in San Fran right now, obviously, with Dylan, and outfits in San Fran, the dress-ups are pretty crazy. When you go to Jamaica, it's a whole next level, man.
Sweet.
And the style of dancing that's associated with the music, it's really interesting to watch.
So how's your daggering? Have you been taking daggering lessons?
Yeah, man. You don't really so much take lessons as in you rock up to a party and if you're a woman, a man will grab you, or if you're a guy, I'm sure a girl will sort of back herself up, and in no time at all, you'll be,
daggering away. Oh, that's awesome.
That's a slight exaggeration, but
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, when you're Mr. Savona, the legend spreads,
Come on, yeah.
Sweet.
No
sweet.
comment. No.
Sweet. So, what you work with a lot of different vocalists when you're
Sure.
producing vocalists, and it can be a really kind of it can be a tricky thing working with vocalists sometimes. Any advice for getting them to give you the best recordings? And
Yeah, for sure. It's actually a really good question, because I know a lot of producer friends, they want to work with a vocalist and they'll make the contact and they've got some idea, but maybe they're doing it long distance. Or I say first and foremost, like, if you can work with a singer in your own studio or in their studio or in a studio somewhere and actually work one-on-one with them, it's by far the best way to get. First of all, you got the vibes in the studio and you got someone to bounce off. You bounce off each other. Second of all, you want to have a really clear idea, what kind of vocal are you after, what kind of lyrical contents. Often, like, for instance, in Jamaica, they're very flexible vocalists and can kind of cover so many different styles, so it's much better if you actually give them a clear idea of what you're after.
Yeah.
Do you want a party track? Do you want something, a love song? Do you want something, some just more hype and energy, or do you want deeper lyrics? Like, give them an idea, and it's the same with a hip-hop artist, reggae artist, any style, really, have a clear idea of the kind of vocal you want and work together with them where at all possible. And if they are in a different country and you can't actually link up with them in person, put Skype on or something so you can actually be there in the studio with them. I've done this a couple times. It's not as great as being with them, but it's still, at least you can have a vibe and go, yeah, man, I love that chorus, or that's wicked, but can you change this a bit, or that's an awesome take, but can you lay it up and give me some doubles as well to make it punchier, or something like this,
Cool.
Like, actually kind of help direct the session. And if you don't yet have the experience of doing that, then, the experience comes with listening the music that you love. For instance, like, if you're listening to a lot of hip hop or trap, we have certain kinds of artists, really analyze the recordings, listen to how the producer actually worked with that vocalist, how they got that sound, and start trying to replicate it. This is the way to learn.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. So, you've obviously had a pretty, long and robust career of learning and challenging yourself and doing all different things.
Sure.
Do you have any advice for your past self?
Wow, that's a crazy question, man. This is like time travel or something.
Yeah, you had time travel, you had a magic message.
Okay, yeah.
Box.
My message from my past self would be, you have no idea what is possible. Don't limit your imagination, man. If I 10 years ago, when I bought my first Sizzler record, The Real Thing, and listening to it on my record player and go, man, I love this singer. If you told me 10 years later that I'd be actually staying with him at his house in Jamaica working on an album, there's no bloody way I would have believed that. So I tried to turn the swear word voltage down there.
You can swear, okay, man. Okay. It's totally fine.
And if I look, basically, I think the story with music is, if you love music and love it with a passion, it kind of opens up doors in so many ways that I would never thought was possible, So I guess my advice to myself is to just go for it, and that's kind of what I've done. But, sometimes as an artist, producer, and you're trying to make yourself and establish yourself, and there can be a lot of hurdles along the way, or things don't always go easy, just stay on track.
Yeah.
And just stay focused, you know, because success comes with enthusiasm and passion and love for your art, basically. They're the key ingredients.
You know, the vision is what leads it all, you know? And I mean, I definitely, when I was coming up, you know, I was kind of going a bit against the grain of what was going on in my town. And it really, in a lot of ways, you know, kind of stunted my vision, and I was taking like, you know, a little step here and a little step there and a little step there. Sure. But just having that, you know, that big vision and being able to just be like, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to get there. It might take years, but that's where I'm going, you know?
Sure.
Babe Ruth that shit. Definitely.
Yeah. And I think another thing is stay inspired. And if you're finding your enthusiasm or, you know, like we were talking about watching music documentaries this morning, educate yourself. If you're finding it flat or in the studio and the ideas aren't coming or something, just get online and watch something about James Brown or, you know, Ella Fitzgerald or Miles Davis or Coltrane or Hendrix or whoever it's going to be. Like, get inspired about music, you know? Like, music is, like, a bottomless pit of joy. You know what I mean?
Really
Like,
yeah, it really is. And you can always change and do something totally different, you know? I think a lot of people, they kind of carve out a niche for themselves and then just stay there, you know? But you can always make like really big changes, you know? And it's just like, you know, if you're ever dissatisfied, you know, you don't like your city, you don't like, you know, the sound you're in, you don't like, you know, I mean, pretty much the only thing you can't change is your health, really. But I mean, it's all able to be changed.
Even health you can improve.
To a
Drink
degree.
a juice.
To a degree,
you know, get some sunshine.
Yeah.
Don't stay in the studio 24 hours. Get out there in the world, you know.
Yeah, man, definitely. Cool. So, and is there any, you know, like anything upcoming that or any like dreams or visions for the future that you have or projects once this Cuba meets Kingston?
Well, that's kind of like Havana meets Kingston. This album is like, you know, 70% recorded. So after Symbiosis, I'm heading back to Jamaica to do the final touches. So this project's definitely my focus for the next 3-4 months. You know, we want to put it out early next year and getting it all together. But I've kind of got Moody. I'm going to be putting out a new album of mine, which is kind of pulling together all my favorite tracks.
Another new album. You're a maniac.
Well, you got to keep up with the times. You know, I've actually got a mad back catalogue, man. If you saw my hard drive of like 4 years of recording and traveling the world, and these tracks I haven't even got around to finishing yet. So, you know, I'm trying to keep the steady releases coming out and, you know, the material's there. But, yeah, so Havana meets Kingston's the focus. I go back to Australia in December for the summer festivals, which I'll be seeing you.
Yeah, man.
On the
really
dance
excited.
floor. Subsonic.
Yep. Very excited. Yeah, I'll see you there. Music's coming too. It's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. And you know, just keep going on. So Havana meets Kingston will probably be touring that next year with a lot of the Cuban and Jamaican musicians as well, which will be huge. And yeah, man. Who knows? We'll see.
Sweet.
Day by day.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, hey, thanks so much for watching, everybody. And Jake, thank you so much for having me, man. Me in the room.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.
Sound
work hard,
will
people.
Be back. Yeah, work hard, play harder. Big up. Peace.
Awesome.